Hello friends, today I'd like to talk about a text-to-image model called SDXL-Turbo. This is coming from our friends at Stability AI. It's a new model and it's sort of singular in that they've reduced the number of steps required to generate the image from 50 to just one. So each, depending on the hardware you have, each step might take like between half a second to a second. And so in this case, it means you can start generating images in sub-second time frame. Now, this doesn't come without a cost, so obviously generating an image from a single step is going to suffer a bit from quality, but it is sort of a neat idea to be able to generate images in near real time. If you wanted to, say, feed in a narration from a book, or if you just wanted to generate images from a conversation, then if you can get the script, you can run that into an application that would then use this model to generate the images. So I'll show you, I found a colab that's set up to load this image, and it actually creates a Gradio front end in order for you to like generate a prompt, to type in a prompt and to trigger the model. I'll just go through it quickly here. So first we create a pipeline. This is the model name on Hugging Face. So we'll download the model here, the full precision floating point 16 model. And we're going to use the free tier GPU in colab. So we're going to use the CUDA GPU acceleration in this case. And so there's some clever stuff being done here to actually open up a tunnel so that we can use the Gradio interface outside of the machine, outside of the colab itself. So I'll skip over this part, but this is some boilerplate that you can use if you ever wanted to run like a Gradio interface inside of a colab itself. This is the method, the generate method that actually generates the image. It calls the pipeline, passes in the prompt. The number of inference steps originally in this colab was set to 1. I found that the quality was a bit low for my liking, so I bumped it up to 3, which still, like, each step takes between like 200 milliseconds to a second, depending on the hardware that you have. So doing 3 steps can typically be done in around a second to a second and a half. So I would still call that like near real time. The guidance scale, this is like the real magic here. So if the guidance scale is set to anything but 0, you're going to get really bad images. So you can think of the guidance scale as just telling the model how close the image should adhere to the prompt. So even at a guidance scale of 0, it's going to have pretty good adherence. It just means that the image is going to be able to be generated much quicker, and you'll probably have a lot less variance in the images that you get. So we hardcode the width. I think these are already the defaults in the pipeline, but we put them in anyway. And then we set the number of images to 1 because the pipeline itself has the default of 4 images. And then we just take the 0th image, which obviously we're only generating 1 image, so we're just taking that first image. And then we run a resize, and we add that inside of, so here's the Gradio interface here. So we create a block, we create a text box where we can put the prompt in, and then when you click the button, we call the generate function that's actually going to generate the image, and then that image we put in our output block. Right, and then we run it. So I've already run this before, so the model is preloaded in memory. It still takes a few minutes for everything to load up, so I'll just start it here for now, and then we'll see that it'll load the model. It's probably already in GPU, so that will go very quickly. Right, and then it's going to do the tunneling. So I'm just going to pause the video here while it sets up the tunneling until we get an URL that we can use. Okay, so it's generated the tunnel URL, and now we have a live Gradio URL that we can use. So if we click on this, let's Going to open our user interface. This is the default, a close-up picture of a fluffy cat. And if we run this, I'm just going to jump back to the colab. Okay, we can see it's generated the image. And here it is, close-up of a fluffy cat. We can do, I don't know, a zebra eating tacos, oil painting style. Run that. Again, image is done. There it is. Beautiful. I saw 3 ships come sailing in. Beautiful. 1, 2, I guess we'll call that 3. Anyway, you get the idea. So it's super fast in generating images. As a bonus, I also found some code that you can run this on your MacBook Pro. Basically a similar code where we create the pipeline. In this case, we do 2 MPS, so we can take advantage of the Apple Silicon GPU acceleration. And then we have a method that generates a prompt. In this case, it's a little bit slower, so I left the num inference steps to 1. Guidance scale is still set to 0. Number of images is set to 1. And then basically we're going to generate the image and we're going to store it in .out/image.png. So I've already generated a few, so we can see, like here's, this one was a couple walking in a park near a lake with swans at sunset. Do a squirrel water skiing. Okay, it's been a while since I've done it, so it has to reload. Oh, there's our squirrel. So let me redo one of these. Here's a couple walking at sunset. This one should be a lot faster. Yep, there we go. So there's a couple, is just one now. Anyway, you see that the with just one iteration, the image quality isn't that great. When you go back and look at the colab, I find the like with just 3 iterations, it's much better, and it's still almost about the same speed. Yeah, so that's it. I'll put some links in the description, and yeah, hopefully you find this useful.